Welcome to this webinar sharing featuring the multiple educational possibility that you can look forward to at NUS in preparations for the VUCA future. I'm Yue-Jia and I will be your MC for today. Thank you for taking time to join us. The sharing you will hear this afternoon will be presented by the Dean of Admissions, Professor 𝐤𝐳𝐶. After the presentations, there will be a Q&A dialogue segment with faculty members from the School of Computing, College of Design and Engineering, and NUS College. If you have any questions, we greatly appreciate if you could please write them down in the Q&A tab below, and we will answer them during the dialogue segment. Thank you for your patience. Professor 𝐤𝐳𝐶 is the Dean of Admissions at NUS. He is highly passionate about education and has received numerous teaching awards, including the University Outstanding Educator Award in 2009. His research interests are on the theory and applications of wavelets, approximation theory, and harmonic analysis. He also participates in interdisciplinary research involving the practical use of mathematics. Now, let's begin the session. Prof. 𝐤, please.
Thank you, and very warm welcome to all of you. And today is actually the final day of NUS Open Day or NUS Open House. And today we have campus experience, but we also have this webinar together with my colleagues from School of Computing, from the College of Design and Engineering, and NUS College. Now, this particular webinar is actually a dialogue session. It's more for you to ask questions. I'm sure you have attended many of these sessions earlier on, and you may have consolidated a list of questions, especially questions that actually cuts across different faculties. That is the opportunity for you to ask the question. So I strongly urge you to type your question in Q&A, and we're going to spend a bulk of today's session on Q&A. And today's session, as you can see here, this particular section is more on tech focus, about engineering, about computing. And before I do that, let me just give an overview about what we have covered so far in NUS Open House and what kind of learning opportunities that we provide our students. So let me get my slides up first, and then we'll get going. Now, as you all know, NUS is among the best university in Asia, and in terms of ranking, is consistently ranked among the top 25 universities globally. We are a research-intensive, comprehensive university. As a result, we are able to offer a wide range of bachelor degrees program, more than 60. We have very vibrant student life on campus that I'm sure those of you who are on campus today, you actually get to see the campus life that we have. We have more than 200 clubs and societies and interest groups, and we're well connected throughout the world. We have more than 300 partner universities in more than 40 countries. We take the employment of our graduates very seriously, and our graduates are consistently ranked among the most employable in the world. And in terms of academic pathway, there are many choices for you. And if you're interested in humanities and sciences, you can do a major in arts and social sciences, a major in science, or cross-disciplinary program. If you're interested in design and engineering, we have majors in design like architecture, industrial design, landscape architecture. We have practically all kinds of majors that we have in engineering. If you're interested in business, we have 3 types of majors offered by NUS Business School, and we have 4 types of majors offered by the School of Computing. And we also have professional courses like medicine, dentistry, and law, and special courses like music, nursing, and pharmacy. Music, nursing, and pharmacy, NUS is the only university in Singapore that offers these as degree programs. And for those of you who are aware, the world is now very complex. The problems are wicked. And what we need to do is that to handle this problem, to handle all these wicked problems, we need to prepare our graduates well. And to prepare our graduates, we have gone through another round of educational reform in the past 1 to 2 years. And our educational reform actually follows the 4 key pillars of NUS education that I want to highlight. The first key pillar is a common curriculum. May it be in the College of Design and Engineering or the School of Computing or College of Humanities and Sciences, each of these, they have their own unique common curriculum to provide rigorous and broad-based intellectual foundation to provide you the opportunity to branch out and to learn well within your major. Second thing, we do realize that nowadays the world is complex, and students' learning actually should prepare you for the long term. So we provide flexible pathways. The kind of flexibility the NUS is providing now is something that is significantly way beyond what we used to have. If you are particularly interested in a major, let's say in the area of computer science or in the area of engineering, you can actually deepen your expertise. If you want to have a double major or minor, you can do that as well. And how this is made possible is because through our educational reform, we essentially cut out the NUS curriculum space into 3 portions. 1 portion on common curriculum to provide you with a necessary foundation. 2nd portion on major requirements, that major that you are interested in. There is a 3rd portion, which is on unrestricted electives. This is where for you to actually take full ownership of your learning. You can do a specialization, you can do a 2nd major, you can do a minor or even a 2nd degree. And the 3rd pillar that I want to highlight is we're taking an interdisciplinary approach in teaching and learning across the discipline. You are no longer learning in silo about one discipline, because in real life, when you go out and work, you will actually discover that you need to interact with people from different disciplines. So that's why we provide an interdisciplinary approach. At the same time, reinforced by experiential learning, like internship and overseas exposure and so on and so forth. And the 4th pillar, some of you may not realize, is that we are very much into lifelong learning. Yes, our commitment to you during your undergraduate study looks like 4 years, but our commitment to you is beyond 4 years. We are looking at a 20 years commitment. We hope that we will give you the foundation. After your undergraduate degree, you can come back and then you can learn more, you can upgrade your knowledge, and especially in the technology fields, knowledge changes very quickly. And that's where lifelong learning is very, very important. And apart from just taking classes on campus in NUS, you can actually make the world your classroom. And all our programs, we do have student exchange program. You can spend 1 semester or 1 year in one of our 300 partner universities. The beauty about our student exchange program is that you are able to actually take classes in another university, and all these classes can be counted towards your graduation requirement in NUS. At the same time, the fees that you pay actually is NUS school fees, so which is heavily subsidized by the government. Some students prefer that I don't want to spend 1 whole semester overseas. I want to have a study abroad program opportunity. You can do a summer or winter program, 2 to 6 weeks in another place, and you can also go for a research attachment. And other opportunity is that you can make yourself at home on campus. On campus, you can stay in the halls of residence. These are traditional halls of residence that your parents' generation may have already stayed there. Ask your parents, Shears Hall, Raffles Hall, Yusof Ishak Hall. I'm sure some of them, if they are NUS graduate, they may have stayed there. And these halls of residence has a rich culture of activities, and you get a place to stay. The new kids on the block is the residential colleges that started when we began our university town more than 10 years ago. And the residential colleges, you stay there, rich culture of activities. At the same time, you take classes that can be counted towards your common curriculum requirement. So you get to live and learn with peers and professors from faculties across the campus. And the 3rd type is student residences, that less activities, but nevertheless, there's a vibrant community of international students, and you get to meet friends from different parts of the world. Now, like I said, we prepare you for the future. After all, the future is very complex. So we have a Center for Future Ready Graduates that organize programs and workshops and events to support you for employment. And recently, we have launched a network called an online platform called Connect NUS. This enables our students to do networking with alumni. And we also launched a professional internship platform. And my colleagues later on will tell you more about internship opportunities, especially in College of Design Engineering and the School of Computing. And we want to support our students. So we call for future leaders and change makers, and we offer NUS scholarship. 500 university level scholarships a year, and these are for well-rounded high achievers. And all our scholarships are actually bond-free, full tuition waiver, and at the same time provide you with some living expenses. So do apply for the NUS scholarship. There are other kinds of scholarship available as well, like the e-scholars by the faculty of, by the School of, the College of Design and Engineering, which my colleagues, I'm sure, will share more about that as well. Now, apart from scholarship, we are very much into supporting our students about coming financially to come to NUS. Now, we do understand that some students may find that university education is very expensive. Not to worry, our admissions policy is merit-based and needs-blind. Financial difficulty will not impact the way that we assess you. We have a wide range of financial aid schemes available, ranging from bursaries, government bursaries, or our own NUS bursary that add on what the government bursary gave you. We also provide you with horse bursary, residential program bursary, or residential college bursary that allows you to stay on campus. We also provide bursary for you to go from needy students to go for study abroad program. All these we have been doing for many years. And this year, we enhanced all these, which I'll talk in the next slide. At the same time, we also have a tuition fee loan, NUS study loan to actually support you for your education. Now, what is this enhanced financial aid scheme for Singaporean undergraduate students? This was announced earlier this month. And what happens is this. All along, the government bursary, whether you study in any of the university in Singapore, will provide, the government will provide you to cover your tuition fees and part of your living expenses. And the government bursary will cover a portion of your tuition fee, but it doesn't cover fully. All along, NUS bursary covers on top of the government bursary, but still, government bursary plus NUS bursary does not cover the full tuition fees. Starting from this coming academic year, 2022, for all students with per capita income PCI not more than $1,000, NUS bursary will top up government bursary to provide full coverage of tuition fees. So in other words, the students with PCI not more than $1,000, the Singaporean students, you do not have to pay any fees at all. In addition, for students with PCI not more than $690, apart from full coverage of tuition fees, we will provide through NUS bursary another $4,000 per year for living expenses. And we do understand that on-campus stay and overseas program are really two programs that really enhance your education. So we're going to roll out for this group of PCI not more than $690 an opportunity enhancement grant that provides $10,000 over 4 years to top up existing financial aid or bursary for on-campus stay and overseas experience. So the goal here is that we make sure that all our students will have at least 1 year of on-campus stay, accessibility of 1 year of on-campus stay in NUS, plus one overseas program. And finally, to talk about admission, what kind of things we look out for admission? Two things that we look out for, passion and aptitude. We want to recognize your passion. So we actually offer first choice bonus points among the 8 choices that you may put down for your single degree courses. Your first choice, if it is not a course that is not an interview course that has additional ways of assessing you, we will give you a bonus point. For example, if you're A-level students, then the course that you put down as a first choice, we will give you up to 2.5 bonus point so that will give you a head start as a recognition of your passion. At the same time, some students may miss the cutoff for a certain course, but we do realize that grades are not everything. So we have an avenue for aptitude-based admission as well to recognize your achievement beyond your grades. We look at your ability and interest and aptitude for that particular discipline that you're looking for. We also recognize your leadership, community, or exceptional talents. So you can provide details to be considered for aptitude-based admission under the achievement section of the application form. For more details, visit our website and then and feel free to write in to our Ask Admissions for inquiries. And I'll stop here, and then we are going to take a lot of questions from you. So I'll pass the time back to Cheah first.
Thank you, Prof. Goh, for your sharing. We will now move on to the dialogue segment. Joining Prof. Goh are Prof. Sim, Prof. Buist, Prof. Cheah, and Prof. Loy from the School of Computing, College of Design and Engineering, and NUS College. Dr. Terence Sim is an Associate Professor and Vice Dean of Communication for the School of Computing, NUS. He's also a Principal Investigator at NUS Central for Research in Privacy, Technologies, and CRIT. His research interests include biometrics, computer vision, and their privacy implications. Dr. Sim serves as Editor-in-Chief at the International Journal of Pattern Recognition and AI, as well as Second Vice President of the International Association of Pattern Recognition. Associate Professor Martin Buist is the Vice Dean of Undergraduate Programs at the College of Design and Engineering. His research interests focus on creating computer models of the human body in health and disease. Associate Professor Ming is the Assistant Dean of Undergraduate Programs at the College of Design and Engineering and a Fellow of the NUS Teaching Academy. He's a design educator who creates engaging learning platforms for integrating research into forecasting design solutions for future challenges. As an architect, he serves in the Board of Architects and the Design Education Advisory Committee of the Singapore Design Council. Prof. Loy Hui Cheah is an Associate Professor in the Department of Philosophy at the NUS Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences and the Vice Dean of External Relations and Student Lives. He's also the Vice Dean of Academic Affairs at NUS College, where he directs the NUS College academic program and acts as the primary liaison with the faculty and students regarding academic matters. I will hand the time over to Prof. Goh, who will be moderating the dialogue. Prof. Goh, please.
Thank you, Cheah. Now, as you can see here, I have three very interesting colleagues with me. And let me share some slides. And I let my three colleagues talk a little bit about their respective schools and faculties. And then later on, we will actually go into our Q&A. And then we will see that how all these different faculties and schools are all interrelated to give you a holistic learning experience. So the first faculty that I want to feature is actually School of Computing, and I'll get my colleague, Prof. Terence Sim, to talk about the School of Computing, to say a few words about it. Yes, Terence, please.
Hey, hello. Thank you for the introduction, Sei-Song. I'm very glad to be with you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from the School of Computing, and I'd just like to quickly take a minute or so to explain the 5 degree programs that we have, or rather give an overview first. So you may have heard of something called Industry 4.0, right? This is the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And the whole idea is that many aspects of our daily life are now interconnected with data, with devices, right? So in other words, it's a very high-tech future. So at School of Computing, we're going to prepare you for Industry 4.0. Okay, Industry 4.0 is here to stay. It's not a fad. It's here. Businesses, leaders, opinion leaders already realize that it's already here. Okay, so we're preparing you for that kind of job. So School of Computing, what's distinctive about us is that our degree program is actually called an all-access pass, right? That's the first point you see on the slide. In other words, it opens the door to any industry, Okay, any and every industry will use computing in one way or another, including, surprisingly, agriculture. You might think that farming or agriculture is very low tech, right? Not anymore. There are sensors that are placed on the farms to look at how the plant is doing. There are drones that fly overhead. Okay, this is welcome to the future of high-tech farming. Okay, so our degrees open the door to any industry. Number two, we actually offer 5-degree programs, which I'll go into maybe a little bit later. We have 5 degree programs with slight differences, of course, different specializations, if you will. And the whole idea is to align your passion with the tech future. Okay, on top of that, our curriculum is flexible. As Prof. Goh mentioned, you can go deep into more technical depth, or you can go broad. You can take interdisciplinary courses. It's up to you. Okay. And finally, we're very pleased that for many years running School of Computing, we are Asia's #1 computing school. And what does that mean? That means you get to learn from the best professors, the best researchers, the best teachers. It also means that your peers are the best, okay? Your classmates are the top of their cohort, okay? So it benefits you not only now, but after you graduate, you go on into your career, your peers will move with you, which means you have strong networking and also a great history of very prominent alumni. Okay, so that's all I would like to share with you at this point.
Thank you, Terence. And so I think this is really a very nice overview about School of Computing and how it relates to Industry 4.0. Now, there is, of course, the other side that is another aspect that will contribute to Industry 4.0. That is, of course, the College of Design and Engineering, which I will invite my colleague, Prof. Martin Buist, to talk about it.
Thanks, Sae-Song.
Yes, Martin.
So interestingly, we have a specialization in Industry 4.0 in CDE. Okay, so short and sweet. So if you'd like to know the details about our curriculum, then you won't hear them all today. Go and visit our website, our cde.nus.edu.sg. You can find as many details as you like. And if you still don't have your question answered, please drop us an email. Yep, happy to answer any questions you may have. So today, only 3 main points to give here, right? The first thing is, as Prof. Goh says before, our curriculum is divided into 3 parts, right? The common curriculum, a major, and then unrestricted electives. So we very much have focused on having a future-focused curriculum. And what does this actually mean? Okay, in the past, a lot of our degrees were focused on giving you facts, right? But in these days, facts aren't so useful as a differentiating factor for you getting a job, because the next guy can also Google the set just as well as you and get the facts, right? So then in terms of future-focused curriculum, people talk about the knowledge economy. And when they talk about knowledge economy, they're not talking about what you know, they're talking about the creation of new knowledge. Okay, so then we designed our curriculum to make you very adaptable, right? To teach you all sorts of different ways of approaching problems, different ways of thinking, skills, techniques. So then it actually doesn't matter so much if when you graduate in 4 years' time, if the job market has changed a bit, because you'll be able to handle all sorts of different types of problems. So the next point is a practical hands-on learning. I think this is another common misconception that NUS, particularly the engineering degrees, are quite theoretical. And Prof. Goh says that parents might have stayed in the halls of residence. If your parents were during their parents' time, the engineering degrees may have been quite theoretical, theoretical, but now absolutely not. We need to teach you the foundation, and we teach it very well, but we also acknowledge and always are trying to give you, we call it experiential learning, right? So then practical hands-on experiences right from first year, semester 1, you'll see this. Then thirdly, the unparalleled choice and flexibility, right? So basically we call it build your own degree. We do have a common curriculum at the bottom, and then whatever you want to stack is really up to you. So you choose whichever major you like. We have 11 engineering majors and 3 majors which are not engineering, 2 are Bachelor of Arts, 1 a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture. So then you choose whichever one of these you like. And then for the free space, the unrestricted electives, you actually have 25%, 1/4 of your entire curriculum, right? So all of our degrees, the undergraduate degrees, are 4 years direct honors. So out of those 4 years, essentially, well, it's going to be here and there, but 1 whole year, you get to choose whatever you like. Yeah. So I see that Prof. Terence talked about ranking. Naturally, we're also very well ranked. I think the design side, number 6 in the world, engineering side, number 8 in the world consistently. Yeah. So we also have good students and plenty of alumni out there to help you get on the ladder.
Yes.
Okay, enough from me.
Thank you, Martin. Absolutely. You know, I think NUS is actually very strong in computing and design and engineering, and I think Martin has highlighted a very, very important point. In the tech sector, it has changed a lot in recent years, and that's why we have to revamp our curriculum. The CDE, the College of Design and Engineering, is one of these key revamp that we have made to respond to these major changes in the tech sector. And likewise, I think computing is going to roll out a new common curriculum this year, which later on we will touch on this. But before that, just don't forget our third person, and or rather my third guest, the fourth guest actually, and that is some of you may say that this session looks like a tech session. But actually, we put in another school here, and we have a representative from Prof. Lloyd from NUS College, and this is a misconception. People will think that NUS College is a humanities college and nothing to do with tech. Now, this is something that I think my colleague, Prof. Lloyd, will tell you a lot more. And actually, this is part of the equation, part of the puzzle, and everything will fit nicely. So I will let Prof. Lloyd tell you more about that.
Thanks,
Prof. Lloyd, please.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I'm here to introduce NUS College. So what we are, so this is actually an American terminology. We're an honors college, and is subject to a bit of misunderstanding. So unlike my dear colleagues from CDE, from SOC, and from elsewhere, we don't offer a degree. Our students, every NUS college student is a student in, you name it, CHS, perhaps they're pursuing physics or history or chemistry or psychology, or perhaps they are a student pursuing engineering with Prof. Martin, right, in CDE, or perhaps they're pursuing computing, right? But they are here with us in NUS College because they put out their hands to say that, hey, I heard about this. I heard that you guys want to do something very experiential. You guys want to bring together interdisciplinary learning. You guys want to look for people who are interested in leaving a positive impact on the world, who's interested in social impact, who are curious and critical thinkers. And I put out my hands, I would like to apply for that. So that's what we are, right? So what happens to you if you're an NUS college student is that you will pursue your main degree, including in the STEM fields, including in science, including in technology, of course, also humanities and elsewhere, in the main faculties with all these different schools. But we will take over a big part of your common curriculum and part of your unrestricted electives to give you a special enhanced undergraduate experience where you take classes in residence while you're staying with us in the college. And then there'll be this special global program that is built for you, right? So in short, this is an honors college experience. It's meant for NUS students who are pursuing degrees in all these different schools and faculties, including in the ones that are represented today by my wonderful colleagues. But you're here with us because you want an enhancement to your undergraduate degree, something that requires a residential stay, something that requires you to step outside of your comfort zone to take classes together with students from other faculties and other disciplines and work on things together. I'm sure you have many questions, and please feel free to go visit our website, and I'm sure you can see more there. Yeah.
Thank you, Lloyd. So let me stop share now, and let's take a look at some of the Q&A questions. And I'm sure there are things that we would like to, that some of you may wonder. Now, I think one of the basic things is that just now, I think Prof. Lloyd talks about, unrestricted electives, common curriculum. Let me give you a sense about what kind of proportion are we looking at. Now, the typical NUS degree, 4 years, a student will take 40 modules. So the currency we are looking at is module, 10 modules per year. So for the major requirements, may it be major in electrical engineering, major in, let's say, physics, typically 15 modules. But some of the majors may have a specialization that goes into it. So that becomes a 20 module major. That means a specialization, the currency is 5 modules. And then there are, then how about the common curriculum? Common curriculum can range from 10 to 15 modules. Then there is a balance of unrestricted elective space from 10 modules to 12 modules or things like that. So that is where you have a lot of flexibility. The unrestricted electives, you can do a second major, you can do a minor, and you can do all kinds of combination. Typically, a major requirement, 15 modules, second major, 10 modules, minor, 5 modules. You get the picture. And you want to specialize, go deep, specialization, 5 modules. Now, for CDE and College of Design and Engineering, and also for School of Computing, they do have all kinds of combination. And so I'll invite Martin and Ming to talk about how you can do a double major or major minor combination in CDE or a specialization. Let's hear from Martin and Ming. Yeah.
Shall I go first?
Okay, yes, please.
Okay. So then I think there's important to have a distinction between what a minor is and what a specialization is, because they're both size 5 modules, right? So then for my interpretation is that if you just want to get your feet wet in a subject, not to go super deep, not to get very technical, then you're looking at a minor, right? So it will be the introduction to the subject. If you are looking at a specialization, the specialization is typically adding on to your major, right? So if I choose a major in my own department's biomedical engineering, if I choose a major in biomedical engineering, I might like to specialize in biomaterials, right? Or biomedical materials, I think we call it. So then this is something which is higher level, is it more in depth, and so that's really the difference. But essentially, mechanics is that basically at the start of each semester, or just before the start of each semester, you get to say, oh, this semester I would like to declare that I'm going to do a minor in physics, yep, or a minor in maths. I use these 2 examples to highlight that these don't reside in CDE. So when we talk about flexibility to do minors, second majors, and these sorts of things, it's actually anywhere on campus, right? All of the faculties, colleges, schools, what have you, will offer their own minors, second majors, and then you can go and sign up for whatever you like. Specializations will rely on a specific major though. Yeah. The one we'd like to sell in terms of second majors, we have an innovation design program, very popular. We have students from all over campus come to take that, really get deep into design and also into entrepreneurship, if you're interested in that side of things, to help you bring your idea, mentor through the market.
Mm-hmm. And Ming, you want to add on?
I just add on, I mean, from the design programs, like for example, a major in architecture, and one of those things that you want to consider as minor is important because they may really augment your core. For example, if you take architecture as a core, you may want to consider 2 minors. One minor maybe in landscape architecture, the other minor could be across aqua ecology. So these are in a way related, aligned, and in a way you're trying to brand yourself so that you could in a way a kind of unique kind of knowledge you have upon graduations. And in the case of architecture, you can take out the specialization, take the entire 10 modules for specialization, and that helps you to move into a professional degree, what we call the Master of Architecture, as a concurrent degree program, which if that's your ambition to be an architect, and that will be the route to take using the 10 MCs as a kind of unrestricted elective. So these are the kind of potential in a way of mixing and matching to enhance your marketability in the industry.
And this enhancement, I guess there's something that I would say is like uniquely NUS in the sense that you can enhance it all the way to, let's say, the College of Humanities and Sciences. You can cut across institutions and colleges because or faculties, because NUS is a comprehensive university. You want to cut across to, let's say, humanities, or you want to cut across to a science department. This is possible. And whereas if it's a specialized engineering school, then you may not be able to cut across, let's say, a science major. So I'm sure that as a mathematician, I will be very happy to see engineering students in my class that is doing a minor in mathematics, which we do have in the past, but not so common because the previous engineering curriculum may be harder for you to do a second major or minor, but now we have open doors, right? Am I right to say that, Martin?
Yeah, absolutely. So then maths, always, everyone likes maths.
Oh yeah,
including me. I love maths. Maybe it's just us, but never mind. So then the example I often say is that, like, if you're say doing A levels, you're on the science track, you could take physics and chemistry, but do you want to do physics and chemistry at the university, or do you want to do, say, a bunch of engineering or chemical engineering for chemistry? But actually now there's no need to choose directly like that, because you can take, say, electrical engineering plus a second major in physics, mechanical plus a second major in physics. You can take chemical engineering plus a second major in chemistry if this is really what you enjoy. Of course, if you do not enjoy this at all, then you can equally take, say, mechanical engineering. We have people doing minors in the languages. We have people doing minors in music, all sorts of things. It's really up to you.
Yeah, I think this example about chemical engineering, because in the past, I've seen students who are very torn that I love chemistry, but I want to be an engineer. So it's either I take chemical engineering or a major in chemistry. But now with a major in chemical engineering, you can do a minor in chemistry, or you can even do a second major in chemistry. This is possible now that you have actually both. Now, I like the part that you say, oh, you all love maths. Now, let's turn to my good friend, Terence. He's a computer scientist, so I'm sure he will advocate more about the importance of mathematics. Just kidding. But I think Terence can tell us more about what School of Computing offer, about specializations, about how you can mix and match, and the 5 different majors that just now you were wanting to introduce. So Terence, please.
Yes, okay. Right, thank you for that. So here's an interesting thing for everyone, especially the prospective students. Prof. 𝐤𝐳𝐿 and I were classmates all the way back in secondary school.
Yes, we were classmates.
We were in JC also together. And at that time, for my A levels, I specialized in maths. I took double maths, the so-called general maths and further maths. Whereas our dear friend 𝐤𝐳𝐿 here was doing the computing for A levels. Okay, fast forward, he became a mathematician, I became a computer science. So we kind of crossed. Okay, so a little inside information. But yes, so if I may quickly just share my screen to answer that question. Whoops, let me just get this. So essentially, no, this is not what I want to show. Essentially, we have 5 degree programs, but there's a lot of flexibility in that. So let me just quickly jump. Okay, so we have 5 degree programs, as you can see on this slide. Okay, let me just show you here. All right, you can see here. Okay, so these are 5 degree programs, color-coded, and you can see on the left side, this is what this is common across NUS, right? There's this portion called unrestricted electives, which is what all my colleagues here have said. It constitutes about 1/4 of your entire 4 years here. Okay, and then there's a common curriculum. Now, in School of Computing, our common curriculum is new. Every school will have its own common curriculum. Okay, School of Computing, we have ours, and I can give you more information if you're interested. But the highlight here is that we offer 5 degree programs. I think relative to our school, this is quite a lot. Okay, so computer engineering, you can read the taglines. Computer engineering, you solve real-world problems with hardware and software. So there's a mix of hardware and software. So if you like to create electronics, embedded devices, okay, that would be for you. Computer science, we solve real world problems with software and algorithms. Okay, so we create the technology. Okay, so that's where, if you're interested in AI, that's where it would be. You're interested in computer games, developing games, that's where you will be. Information systems and business analytics, they are more focused towards the business side, right? So the tagline here is solve business problems with infocom technologies. Okay, so example of specializations would be fintech, right? Fintech is about financial technology. You may hear this buzzword. Okay, so that comes under IS. Business analytics, we solve business problems with data models and tools. Okay, so in other places, they call it data science, right? So this is about looking at your data, how you model, how you look for interesting patterns and so forth. Okay, so that comes under business analytics. And we've been offering this way before the other local universities. So I saw a question in the Q&A about NTU's new offering. Well, we've had that for quite some time. So this will be what we've been offering. Information security is very specialized. It focuses on defending computer systems, right? Because these days you've heard a lot about hacking, data breaches, privacy. So in information security, we teach you about how to detect, how to do defense, how to attack even, as well as how to do forensics. So that's hopefully, in a nutshell, that's what computing can offer you. Okay, so let me just stop here.
Thank you, Terence. I think thanks very much for going down memory lane. Now that small little story actually tells that there's a moral of the story behind that. And actually, you know that the moral of the story is actually at this stage in life, you may say that, oh, I want to do certain things. But sometimes you need to be open-minded. There are a lot of related discipline. And that's how I moved from computer science as a JC student in the end to become a mathematician, because there are always two subjects that I'm very fond of, computer science and mathematics. And I chose mathematics.
And I crossed over.
And you crossed over to the other side. I was
going to say, I think you're probably both very good examples of lifelong learning as well. To be able to do that transition. And keep going
the point here is this. The point here is that university education should actually look at multiple possibilities about where you can learn, where you can pivot, and how we can broaden our perspective. I think that is the moral of the story. And likewise, like just now, Terence highlighted computer engineering. There is a joint degree with the College of Design and Engineering this program offered jointly by the two, by CDE and SOC, because this is about crossing discipline. Now, I think this crossing discipline idea, actually, NUS College will also help to build the foundation. And I saw quite a number of questions coming in about NUS College, that for double major, minor, if I go into NUS College, is there still possibility for me to do that? So let's invite Prof. Lloyd to comment on that. I think this is one of the pressing questions.
Yeah, I just actually typed an answer to that particular student. Actually, the answer is if your first degree is CDE and you still want to do a second major, even in CHS, is possible. With NUSC, it's possible. You have to overlook a little bit, but you know, a lot of our students are so motivated, they actually do a lot more than what they absolutely need to graduate anyway. So I know that if that's what you really want to do, I know you will be able to do it. My only advice is please remember to have sleep and please remember to make friends. Don't just study, okay? And just as a small bit of a gossip here as well, I didn't realize that you did A-level computing, because I was also an A-level computer science student.
And you know you are a philosophy professor.
Yes, I know I'm a philosophy professor. So actually, many of us, I know, Terence, right? What is this? What's going on, right? You know, right? So many of us actually do cross over just across the whole campus, right? Not just in terms of where we come from in JCs or whatnot, but also in the things we teach, in the things we are interested in the friends we make, in the collaborations that we design, right? So Martin, you were talking about engineering students. So one of my favorite engineering students I taught in recent years is, he's so crazy about philosophy, he really wanted to do a philosophy PhD. I had to kind of dissuade him. Say, there's no money, you know, okay, just kidding. Anyway, he is still going to pursue, he's doing his MA, Masters in Philosophy. Just again, if that excites you people, NUS is the place to be, because we have all of it. Okay? You know, you don't have to do this sort of things. Not everyone needs to be like this, but if this excites you, you got to be with us. Yeah.
So then this is maybe it's a good segue to say that we changed one thing for the admissions this year into our engineering programs, apart from computer engineering, because computer engineering is joint between CDE and the School of Computing. And that is, you no longer have to have an H2 science subject. So this then allows people, because I mean, for students usually have to choose quite early on whether they go into the art stream or science stream, right? And that we recognize some people do the art stream with maths, H2 maths, and they're quite good at it. So then we are also now welcoming art stream students with the H2 maths. They can welcome to apply for the engineering programs.
So I think Martin has highlighted two major changes in terms of admission. One is that you no longer requires H2 physics to study engineering, H2 maths, that is good enough. And the second thing, and if you don't have, you need the physics, no worries. We have bridging courses offered by the Faculty of Science, and you can always take the bridging course to make up for the missing parts in physics. So in other words, it will not be such a high stake in terms of A-level choice that if you don't have H2 physics and you took H2 biology, sorry, you can't enter engineering anymore. Now this is possible. And this is one aspect. Another major change in the admission for engineering is that in the past, you applied directly to the engineering course, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, material science, and so on and so forth. But now you only apply directly to engineering, and you can indicate your preferred major. And if you get the preferred major, you get into the engineering course, wherever preferred major you want, we will give it to you. If you're undecided, no worries, we'll still give it to you. Yes. Martin, you want to comment whether there's any quota that a lot of students are concerned about?
No. Yes. So some people will still think that there must be some internal barriers, right? So they could only have certain number in biomedical, could only have certain number elsewhere. But the answer is no. Yeah. So if everyone wants to choose my department, biomedical, that's fine. I'll just have to teach a few more hours. Yeah. There's no internal quotas. So then there might be poly students listening into. The other big change for those engineering programs, we call it common admissions, is that it used to be that your poly diploma may only be accredited to one, maybe two engineering degrees. Now it's no longer the case. If your diploma is accredited to one, it's now accredited to all. So if you did mechanical diploma, you can now choose materials, civil, anything you like. Yeah, there's no longer that restriction there, which I think also might be quite attractive to some people.
Okay, since we are at the point of admission, I think there are some things that is in many of our applicants' mind, aptitude-based admission. Now, aptitude-based admission, there are actually two types of aptitude-based admission. Certain courses, like the design courses, is 100% aptitude-based admission. There's certain kind of requirement. That means we will be assessed, and that one I will let Ming tells you more about that in a moment. And then the second type is that the courses that we are based on cutoff, and then we will have aptitude-based admission. But nevertheless, that let's say you don't meet the cutoff, but we want to look beyond grades, we will have aptitude-based admission as well. And then so I will let Ming first talk about aptitude-based admission for the design course. Then later on, I will also ask Lloyd to talk about this holistic admission, which is another type of aptitude-based admission for NUS College. So, Ming, let's hear for you about the design courses, about how your students are assessed.
Thank you, 𝐶𝐬𝐿. Well, the three design courses that CDE offers are architecture, landscape architecture, and industrial design, right? So for architecture and industrial design, there's what we call the AAT, Admission Aptitude Test. So what it entails is really candidates who are being shortlisted, they'll be informed. And I think since the COVID time, we conduct this via Zoom, in which candidates will be, well, the test is actually a very simple test. There'll be tasks. Give you an example, in the case of architecture, they probably will ask to read a little paragraph from a book and interpret what it means through a simple model making, right? Simple model making. You'll be asked to prepare the paper and all that. So the idea here is not so much to evaluate how well you make the model, but is to create a kind of dialogue during the interview, So what you have is that these things will be presented at the interview via Zoom, and that is where you begin to explain the ideas that's driving your actions and why you're doing this and why you're doing that. And this is where we really get to know you and your passion and your aptitude and trying to draw the strength of you out. And at the same time, of course, you will run to complement your ability with a portfolio. When I say portfolio, it doesn't mean that you have to be artistically drawing. No, it could be your photography. It could be the kind of community projects that you engage in and you plan these things projects, or the kind of hobby that you have, or even musical performance. Some of the candidates we have encountered actually flash out their handphone and produce an audio recording of their musical recital, and even a dance that they have sort of choreographed. So this is the kind of broad range of passion in the students we are looking for, and the kind of imagination they have in whatever things they do. I think this is what the aptitude test is about, to draw that out. And for landscape, what they do is that instead of a test, they require students to submit a portfolio, and then they will conduct an interview. Same thing, the purpose of interview is really to draw the best of you out, so that we could make those decisions to have you part of that learning, exciting learning community.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Yeah, thank you. So as you can see here, these are courses that is 100% aptitude-based admission. Then NUS College Holistic Admission. Noi, over to you. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I want to begin with just a general picture here, right? So whether is it aptitude-based in the faculties or fundamental NUS College Holistic, what we are really trying to do is not to set some hurdle before you. We're trying to find the right fit for you, right? Because at the end of the day, we want you to be happy, because you know why? It's a very selfish reason, because we prefer to deal with happy students, right? Really, I'm actually quite serious about that in a certain sense, right? We want to find, the right fit for you so that you are in a place where you can thrive, okay? So your interest matters a lot, because you tend to do much better when you are actually passionate and you're willing to put in the kind of time and effort to do it, right? So the holistic admission process is no different in that sense. It really is part of the same kind of principles, right? So for NUS College, yes, of course, we look at your grades, right? Sure, of course, we're supposed to, right? Then of course, we're going to look at what you write for us, and we're going to interview you, and we're going to ask you for recommendation letters from people who have taught you. So by the way, please go and ask them for permission first, or anyhow send us their names. And then they get a shock when they see an email from us, asking them for recommendation letter. But ask us politely, teachers who have taught you, because we're trying to assess you, we're trying to understand you as a person, right? A person with a story, with a narrative, with a trajectory, right? You're your final actual A level wasn't fantastic, but there's a whole story behind that. You were actually doing other things. You were maybe, I don't know, you're pursuing other projects, other passion projects, and then your prelim was actually quite good. And so we want to see that overall picture. Okay, so yes, we will of course look at the grades, but that's just one data point. It doesn't trump everything. We will assess all those other things, right? So one of you asked, will we still look at rank points and all that? Yeah, of course we have to. Why would we not? Because it's a data point too, but it's not the only data point. That's the important thing. We care about the other data points a lot. Okay.
So the principle about, this is not the only data point. That is exactly the same principle that we look beyond the grades, even for the regular courses that's not 100% aptitude-based admission, we do look at it. So because we want to identify suitable students that maybe they don't meet the cutoff in terms of rank point, but they have other strengths. So I believe that the engineering course in CDE, the computing courses, they do have it. So maybe I'll invite Martin to comment about the practice in CDE, and then Terence can talk a little bit about the SOC practice for aptitude-based admission.
Sure, no problem. So then we actually will admit quite a few students under the aptitude-based admission, right? There's some things, we can think of two categories of things we look for. For some students, it may be that you're actually quite strong in maths in particular, maybe maths and physics, for some people, maths and chemistry, right? And maybe you had a bad day on one of your other subjects and it dragged your rank points down a bit. So then we do look for these people and to give them a chance. Yeah. The other type is basically, we want to know about you. Yes. what makes you special. And it doesn't have to be special in an academic type of sense. I mean, if you have a medal in some competition, physics or maths or whatever, that's good. But I mean, we admitted, I don't say too much, but 2 years ago, I think we had a national athlete apply, and they were quite a long way below the other applicants, but you know, they are spending most of their time training. So then they come here and they're actually doing fine. But no, you don't have to be a national athlete. I mean, community service, just tell us what you enjoy doing outside, right? Because my personal opinion is that if you have something other than study in your life, and your study starts to go bad at the end of the semester when you have a crunch, then you're much better at coping, right?
So basically, national athlete, people who are strong in community service and things like that, this actually brings out a certain attribute about resilience, being able to cope, to adapt. So that is the reason why the student is admitted, I guess, right?
And you don't even have to be a really high achiever necessarily in whatever you choose to do. It's really about, can we see your passion? Right.
So Terence, in computing, what do we look out for aptitude-based admission?
Okay, sure. So I'd just like to say that for computing, vast majority that we admit do not require any interviews. It's just purely based on your grades, right? There were some historical precedents. You can argue about it, but that's the state of the thing now, right? So that, in other words, the vast majority who get admitted to School of Computing, it's just based on their grades, whether JC or poly grades. Okay. However, during your application to us, if you tick the box that says ABA, then we will look at you in a more holistic way. So things like there will be interview, at the very least, there'll be interview. And during the interview, in the past, we can spring you a on-the-spot mathematical puzzle, right? Why do we do that? Again, as Prof. Loy said, we want to make sure it's the right fit, okay? Because we have found that if we take in a student whose mathematics is not strong, okay, that student in the end really suffers throughout the 4 years. And it's not good for the students, not good for the school. Okay, they end up with all kinds of issues, and they may even have self-worth, self-esteem issues at the end of it. That's what we want to avoid. So you don't need programming. Okay, having said that, many people sign up for all these coding courses, not required at all. Doesn't help you. We don't assume you have any programming background. We train you from scratch. Not to worry. So the more important thing during the ABA is, as all my colleagues have said, you want to show us what you have done beyond your grades. Like, for instance, you have pursued your own, you've taken up courses in IT, you've set up your own business somewhere, you know how to design web pages, you've done some community work. All these help, right? To show that you have either tenacity or you have the creativity to pursue things. You're not just a bookworm, in other words. Right. Well, clearly you're not a bookworm if your grades aren't that high, right? But I mean, so that's where you get to shine. But so if you're not sure, if you find that the your points are too far from our IGP, which is not a hard cutoff, by the way, it's just an indication, then you may want to take ABA. Then we will call you up for an interview. We'll let you have a chance to express yourself. But fundamentally, one of the key things is we want to also be sure that your math is strong. Okay, so we might spring a puzzle, okay, a logic puzzle to teach you. The goal is not that you answer the question correctly. The goal is to see how you approach the problem. Okay, so just an example, you may have heard of this puzzle called Cheryl's Birthday, right? Have you heard of it? It made the news in Singapore and even worldwide. Okay. A Prof. Loy is laughing, right? Cheryl's Birthday is one of these logic puzzles, right? Where you, based on the facts, you eliminate certain things, and in the end, you arrive at the answer. So again, the crucial thing is not whether you get the right answer, but whether you know how to think logically and talk through your thinking process. That's what we're after. Okay, because so don't prepare for it. Don't go and take 10-year series to do puzzle. No. That's not. doesn't gonna help you, right? But just be prepared. Okay.
Yeah, I think basically for computing studies, the logical thinking is very important.
Yes,
so that as you can see,
thinking.
aptitude-based admission actually follows according to what the discipline looks for as to succeed in their discipline. Yes, Lau, you have an additional comment.
Just a small thing, right? So yes, we want to see your passion in other things, but you do realize that fakes can be spotted. If you come to us, so I'm volunteering here, volunteering there, and you just made it out this morning, we can figure that out. Okay, we want to see passion, right? I was just talking to Prof. Sao from physics, and then sometimes we talk about ABA. You come to us and say that I'm very interested in physics, and he's going to, oh my goodness, you're so interested in physics. Let's talk about astrophysics. Let's talk about planets, and then you are like, I have no idea what you're talking about because I just discovered this interest this morning. I'm sorry, that's not going to help. Please. Think about what you stand for. Who are you? What are you interested in? Those are the things that we want to know, right? The real stuff that defines you. Okay, I hope that helps a bit.
Yeah. So in short, let me just summarize all the views gathered. Essentially, for aptitude-based admission, be yourself, be what you are passionate about, show us what you have done, what you are able to do. I think that is the essential idea. It's not about checking boxes. I think this is something that many students thought that is, I need to have this shadowing at the hospital to show that I'm very interested in, let's say, certain discipline or things like that. That is not exactly what we look for. We look for something that we are very passionate. I think in terms of time constraint, so I think I will hand the time back to Cheah to wrap up today's session. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, professors, for sharing your experience, insights, and sound advice. I hope they have managed to answer your questions and clarify your doubts. With that, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that this webinar has been helpful. If you have any further questions, please send them through our Ask Admissions website, which can be found in the chat box shortly. We also greatly appreciate if you could take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form. You may scan the QR code or access the link that we have shared on the chat box. Your feedback is important to us. Please let us know how we can improve. Thank you once again. My colleagues and I look forward to receiving your applications and warmly welcoming you to NUS. Have a great day ahead. See you.